What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. I got a good one in store for us, so I appreciate you tuning in as always. We got a good one in front of us of a lot of details to go over. I feel like I've definitely talked about this before. I just posted a recent video of my trading checklist, my non-negotiables, so I don't want to repeat myself too much of that, but I do want to remind everybody of it, what exactly I do on the day-to-day to walk through how I find my trade selection, right? So just to simply look at it on the trading view here, this is the whole week. We had the off day on Monday with MLK Day. So let's just say the low of week was on the Tuesday here. We're now here on Thursday in the top right. So yes, clean bullish week. That's very ideal, not to be cherry picking. But when I come in on this Thursday, after having a flat Monday, bullish Tuesday, bullish Wednesday, I'm not going to just automatically assume Thursday is going to be bearish. There's no hints at that. One thing you could easily do to really convince me in shorts when we are in a bullish trend, right? Higher time frame trend on the 15-minute. We could even just go back to earlier in the month when before we went to the Dallas event, right? Lower highs and lower lows. We're pulling back on the daily time frame. Okay, so now shorts could be more favorable day over day. But since we've now found a bottom, started to turn back right and make higher highs and higher lows again, bulls are back, longs are back in. Now you really need to convince me that we're going to have a bearish day. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep being convinced that longs are still in. So one thing I like to do is set, you could do it on your own, of putting a low of day and a high of day from the previous. So yesterday's high and low. It's actually this pin down here. If we're an inside bar day, right, you can see on this Thursday, we're clearly still inside that price action. I'm going to assume for now that it's more likely that we have a bullish day. Just that's the way the market moves. Since it is such a strong bullish rising asset, more days close bullish than not. So when we're stuck inside, we're more so going to be probably a little bit more favorable towards the longs. Now, when we take out a previous day's high, there's a great chance that day ends bullish. So, for the flip side, to really convince me on shorts, I'm probably going to need to take out a yesterday's low because there's nothing screaming at me that we're going to just go bearish. Now, we could use other factors like a daily view up or yesterday's New York. But taking it back to when we were declining, when we were coming down lower and lower, if you could see here, we mark off on this day a yesterday's low. On this, that's here. So once we took out this yesterday's low, right, and yesterday's high was up here, once we take it out, I'm going to keep on looking for shorts. We come back in the next day, I'm going to keep on looking for shorts. So, just higher time frame, keeping the long bias this week until I get more information. Now, how can I layer on to that? Well, you've seen me use my two VWAPs. Yesterday's 9:30. So let's go ahead and do that and make that one our dark blue. I'll thicken that up so you guys can see it. And today's daily, which is automatically going to anchor at the changeover. So let's make that one black. So those are my two VWAPs. Let's clear some of this off to clean it up. That when coming into the market today, what do I want to do? I'm not just going to sell it right away. Although I do see us up until this point, right? Our opens here at 9:15. There's 9:15 close. Up until this point, okay, we couldn't get above yesterday's high. We did move lower overnight. I'm seeing lower highs here, Evan. That's absolutely correct. But big picture, where are we? On the week, we're still very bullish. This could just be the higher low. And in fact, you've seen what today turns out to be. And we go make that higher high because the trend is so strong bullish that until we get breaks of new lows, a break of a previous day's low, and then another lower low, sells are not in, or they're not the most probable. Any bearish price action I see in this bullish trend that we've been having, I could just zoom it out here. This here, bearish price action. Small but bearish price action. Bearish price action. Those are just pullbacks in the bullish trend. So I'm not concerned about trying to catch those moves lower. I want to see them come in lower, tell me when they're done, and then try to catch the next leg back higher because that's the higher probability trend. So if you could just show a little bit more patience on these 1 minutes and have a stronger thesis of where you're at on the 15 or just overall in the market, the bias and the sentiment is not bearish. So you should not be just looking for zoomed in shorts on these 1 minute charts. Still lean a little bit more heavy on the longs until you get information telling you maybe sell it. So now we're here at the open. Let's go one more 15-minute bar and see what happens. All right, we're finally extending away above this daily now. Still not a new high a day from today, and we are underneath a yesterday's New York view up. I don't love that, but we're above today's daily. We know we could definitely cut out above yesterday's New York because I still am thinking, how do I know, or you know, anyone, if this is going to be where we create our higher low? Or is it going to be a little bit lower, a little bit lower? I don't know. So all I could say is, well, it's telling me we're maybe turning now. Buyers are back in above the daily. So this is telling me this is where we want to build the higher low, right? So I'm not too concerned with how far it pulls back overnight. It could have came even lower. As long as we start coming back above our daily and start creating higher highs and higher lows, that's going to register to me as my bottom. And now we're starting to pick up back the bullish trend, right? So now we cut through the daily. Let's go one more bar. What happens? Chilling. All right, we're chopping around. Oh, we're back at the daily. Now what? Well, I went forward too far. We bounce off it and we buy it again. It bounces off it. Buyers are maintaining that control. And then we get to that yesterday's New York view up. What happens? Are we going to reject it? Are we going to break through? Nope. Bulls are stronger. They step in through it. No problem. So leaning long bias was the correct way. Now I will say I streamed this morning on ASFX TV. I was not in a long because I'm long bias, but I'm not seeing very clean, easy longs because yes, we're underneath the yesterday's New York, still making lower highs. So all that is telling me that hey, I'm leaning long bias. It's not really presenting to my liking for those longs or in that favor. So I'm just gonna do hands off. Cash is a position, right? That doesn't mean I don't see my longs. I must sell it. Absolutely not. Have some conviction in your bias. Stick to that direction until you get information telling you, hey, you're probably wrong. You might want to let loose of those strong opinions you have of longs. It's telling you probably want to sell it today. One other thing you could just put on is a low a day view up here from 4 a.m. I'll make that purple. Sellers could not take it in. So even just taking in that small little factor of, well, all pre-market, sellers failed to take the low a day. Failed. They're getting weaker heading into the open here. They tried again here at the open again. So when you pop here, that was it. I thought buyers were in. We're going to keep going higher today because sellers just don't have the juice to crack us lower. They've tried for 5 hours now. Stocks are moving higher. That's going to feed my long bias. So another thing I mentioned in the beginning of the video of trying to give you guys as many layers into my thought process of how I decide when to get in, what direction to go, first of all, and then when to get in on that direction. I'm watching the Mag 7. They're behind my head here, but the Mag 7, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, maybe Tesla. I want to see those stocks be moving higher above their respected New York VWAPs, paired with NQ as well. So if we go to NQ real quick here, inversely of what I was just saying, let's throw on yesterday New York free up on NQ. Yesterday's New York free up is still above it, but let's throw on the NQ daily. Up until that point, at the open, same thing as NQ or ES. I can turn off the opening range. Looks a little confusing. This is NQ. At the time, I'm thinking about longing it on ES. Does that look ready for longs? Obviously, it's lower highs and lower lows, but I'm still saying we could still see buyers step in at any point because, I mean, same thing as here. Oh my God, we're moving lower. Nope, just creates the higher low. So, oh my God, we're moving lower. Nope, just creates the higher low. So, I'm not overreacting to being bearish overnight. I'm still saying we could easily see a bullish day from this. No problem at all because we didn't take out of yesterday's low. Until we take out of yesterday's low, I'm not screaming for shorts at all. That's just not the way this trend's been working. So, like I said to my point, I may be long biased, but I don't see my way in long. So what am I doing? I'm waiting. So we're at the open. ES looks like it might want to go higher, but NQ just doesn't look ready. Open comes in. Now we're right at the daily. I can't buy it there because if that rejects it, everyone's going to laugh at me of saying Evan taught me not to do that. Okay, next candle, right back down. Thank God I didn't buy that because, yeah, we're right at the daily. I don't want to be trying to predict those daily view up breaks, especially fighting the short-term structure. I need to see buyers step in, but they're throwing more pins to the downside. You could do the same thesis of a lower day view up on this. Sellers just cannot take it for the life of them. All these pins, sellers are just failing. So the more and more they're getting weaker, ES gets above its daily VWAP. I'm really just waiting for NQ to do it. And boom, there it goes. Finally, buyers step back in with power to get above its daily. It's now 11 o'clock. We can go back to ES here. ES at 11 o'clock. Where are we? At 11 o'clock on ES, we're well up here. So it's already been telling us buyers are in. So that's why I was comfortable taking a long on NQ at this time because I did like we go to the 1 minute here. I made a video about this yesterday. So it's going to look a little familiar, but we're actually on rewind mode. The trade was super clean of seeing the New York VWAP bounce here. Same thing, creating a higher low, buying it once we get back above New York and continuing that trend to our next level. Yesterday's New York VWAP. It rejects it for a little bit and actually does break it in the last 10 minutes of the day, but it was good to get out there because I'm not predicting breaks and retests. I'm not in the business of predicting. I'm in the business of reacting. And then we actually respected again. So you maybe could have even bought a bounce play there too. Caught some money up to that yesterday's New York again. Just ping ponging back and forth. Trade the higher highs, Take your profit, let it pull back, create that higher low, trade it back up again. Simple enough, I think. I teach it in Futures 2.0 on ASFX TV. If you look at my last trades, this was yesterday's trade. Beautiful trend, right off the New York VWAP, break of high a day. Today's trade, beautiful trend, pull back to New York VWAP. It goes a little bit underneath it, but I made plenty of videos about VWAPs. Don't often just pin it perfectly like they do back here. It could go underneath it and still be holding it. And then you can play the bounce or the break of a high day and clean trend continuation. Simplicity. But that didn't happen until 11 o'clock. So my wheels are turning this entire open of saying, are we going to go long? Are the readies long yet? I'm looking at NQ here. I'm looking at ES. Let me go to Microsoft at that time. What's happening there? It's moving higher. We can go to the 1 minute because that's what I watch it on. Go to the 1 minute here, not to overload all the information, but this goes into my process. NQ or Microsoft, choppy. Meta, beautiful bullish. I'm expecting that to help carry my ES and NQ higher. Google, gross. Not my most favorable thing that goes into my weighing process. Anyways, I'm really just looking at the tech stocks since I'm trading the tech. I mean, you go to NVIDIA, beautiful bounce off New York VWAP. Same idea as my NQ. So, I mean, just pairing them all together, breaking down the 15-minute. But if you simply want to put it, let's remove all these drawings here. I'll go back to the 15-minute like I said in the beginning of the video. Reading to what the trend has been, not just today. Yes, we're scalpers on the 1 minute. Yes, we might be going short tomorrow on a Friday. Who knows? That just because we've been bullish all week doesn't mean we have another bullish day. But to get me into shorts, predicting the change of that bullish trend, you have to give me more information to tell me that. I cannot just say, since we moved lower a little bit overnight, today might be that bearish day. And it could, though. But I'm not saying that just yet. I need to see some levels taken out, stocks moving lower at the open, both indices below their daily VWAP. And then you'll convince me on short because, hey, the sentiment's pretty bearish today. But when we start crawling higher at 4 a.m. and start getting back above the daily VWAP, sellers weakening to take its lower day VWAP all along here, stocks aren't really opening really bearish, that's feeding into my long bias. And then, of course, you pair that with the 1 minute looking very bullish, which is why we took longs on it, then yes, everything's now lining up. I could take my long off a key level. So keep an eye on the stocks. Keep an eye on ES and NQ if you want. Maybe not everyone should do it. Maybe it's a little bit overload. Not that I'm the smartest guy in the room, but maybe my experienced market mind can handle flicking back and forth, but I don't want it to overwhelm anybody. I do think it is healthy to look at just one asset. But if you're struggling and you think you take it on, don't be afraid to study both because there's great markups and trades on both. And like I've said plenty of times, sometimes watching another asset keeps me out of the other one and saves me some losing trades. So I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you tune back in for next video we have. And as always, trade safe. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.